Hey beautiful, welcome to Dr. Sarah's Café. This is the full moon in Leo horoscope. I will give a general overview for the vibe and flavor of this full moon, as well as go through each of the 12 zodiac signs to tell you what area of life you can focus on or expect to see changes and developments. So the Leo full moon this month is happening on February 12th at 8:54 a.m. Eastern Time. And I'm calling this full moon dramatic flare or flare, okay? So the first version of that word, those are homonyms for if you think back to your high school English days. So the first idea of dramatic flare has a lot to do with stage performance, right? Leo is the sign of drama, the sign of royalty and regality, and likes to be center stage, okay? So this full moon, any Leo full moon really, can have some dramatic flair to it because Leo is the sign associated most often with dramatic flair. So we think dance, ballet, having a little flourish or extra garnish on something, right? Having really stellar presentation and really standing out, right? Leo is the sign of courage. It's not afraid to be seen, okay? But the other side of this homonym is flare, Flare, which is like a solar flare, which is also really appropriate for Leo because Leo is ruled by the sun. So when we think about solar flares from the sun, which from my understanding are these like really intense hot like spurts or bursts of fire that come off the surface of the sun. And in and of themselves, they can be pretty dramatic, right? And so dramatic solar flares or dramatic stage flare, flourish as you dance or perform for your audience or just for your mirror. There's something about a Leo full moon that could really catch your attention and really grab your attention, especially since it's a full moon. So full moons in any sign shed light on things. They help things to be seen, right? It's when the moon is providing the most light to our planet. And so already there's a spotlight. There is light shining on some area of your life for every full moon. Then you add to that a full moon in Leo, which again is about that spotlight energy, being in the spotlight, or things, situations being in the spotlight. It makes it that much more likely that something around this time is really going to grab your attention. It's really going to take notice. It's going to demand to be seen, to be recognized, okay? And I'm thinking about a combination of flair, as in drama and art, with the sun. And it reminds me of the solar flares that you get when you take a picture on a sunny day. If you've ever looked at a photograph where there's sun shining in the picture and it has these little bursts of lights or little specks and sparkles and shimmer of light that shine across the photograph. That's also, to me, indicative of what dramatic flare, using the play on words, could mean, right? So it's both that solar energy harnessed with intentional artistic craftsmanship of the photographer, right? And those two things come together to make something that looks really beautiful, looks really magical, okay? So this third option is a combination of that natural world with our human creativity integrated into one. Major themes for this full moon in Leo, I have 4 that apply to everyone. And then I'm going to share how each of the 12 zodiac signs can apply these 4 themes. Okay, so I'll talk you through the 4 major themes, and then I'll share for each of the rising signs what area of your life you might see some of these themes playing out. So the first one, surprise outcome or result. So full moons show us our results. They show us what's the outcome of an intention or a seed we planted 6 to 18 months ago. Okay. So you can look back 6 months ago, 18 months ago, and any time in between there to get a sense of what outcome, what is bearing fruit, what results are you going to see now. And it might be surprising because this full moon is squaring Uranus, the planet of shocks and surprises. So the second theme, therefore, is shocking revelation or truth. Full moons are also notoriously times where truth is revealed. The truth comes to light. Okay, so think about full moons, light, things coming to light, able to see things clearly, having a spotlight on something. And this square to Uranus makes it that much more likely that what is revealed or seen or known to be true is kind of shocking. And it could be you sharing a truth or revealing something that shocks other people. And it could also be you witnessing or observing or receiving some shocking truth or revelation. Okay. And then a third way that this could play out with this square to Uranus in particular is that it could be a sudden breakthrough or sudden breakout moment, as in sudden freedom, right? It's like if you were imprisoned somewhere and you saw a surprise or shocking opportunity to grab the keys and free yourself and run away, right? You find that sudden moment where it's like, oh my gosh, they're not looking. I can run away. I can break free in this moment. So there could be an unexpected opportunity, a surprise opportunity for you to break out in some part of your life or break free or get further ahead in some part of your life. And so the aspects that make up these first three themes, if you can see on the screen here, we had, as I mentioned, the sun and the moon are squaring Uranus. So that's a huge part of it, because anything aspecting Uranus, any full moon or new moon aspecting Uranus is like a mini eclipse, like a minor version of an eclipse because of that shock and surprise element to it. But this moon is also opposite Mercury. Mercury is conjuncting the sun. It's in a waning or separating conjunction to the sun. So it's going to be still close enough to the sun that Mercury is part of the equation. Mercury is part of the conversation. Being the planet of conversation, Mercury is part of this full moon conversation. And Mercury is next to the sun, meaning that it's working in harmony with the other luminary, the other source of light in our solar system. And Mercury is about communication, about ideas, about messages, about exchange. It's about transactions and, mercantile endeavors. And so the information that comes to light could bring clarity. It could be a form of communication that is insightful in some way. It helps you to have a deeper understanding or a deeper clarity around what has really been happening, what has really been going on. And I think about this surprise outcome or result, sort of like if you've forgotten that you had a potato in the cabinet, like you put a potato in the cabinet 2 months ago, however long, and you forgot, you just left it in there. And one day you're going into the cupboard to clean things out and you have this like potato with all these like shoots growing out of it. All these, I don't forget what they call like eyes, they're growing eyes or whatever. And it surprises you, it shocks you. It's a surprise outcome, a surprise result, right? And so it could mean that there was something in the cupboard of your mind, in the back of the cupboard in your life, or something under the bed in your life that was growing. There could have been a seed that was planted that you weren't even aware was planted, right? There could have been some behind the scenes, in the cupboard, under the bed mechanism or operation or system playing out that now we find out about under the light of this Leo moon, right? And it could be a surprise result, a surprise outcome. Like, I didn't even know you were applying for jobs and now you're quitting. I didn't even know you were dating anyone and now you're married. I didn't even know, you were looking for houses and now you own the whole block. And it also reminds me of if you have friends or family members who pledged Greek, especially in the Divine Nine, how they have to keep it a secret that they're online, that they're pledging. And then all of a sudden they come out with the surprise, I was pledging and now I'm a, member of this Greek organization, right? So I kind of sense that that could be what it is for some people, for a lot of people. Now on a global scale or like a mundane level, this could be like an organization or a company or a government, right? Announcing something that surprises people, shocks people. And maybe we didn't even know that they were working on that thing. We didn't even know that that was in the works or in the pipeline. And all of a sudden it's revealed or it comes out. And the other thing is surprise outcome or result. Maybe things turn out better, right, than you expected. So I want you to keep that in mind as well. When we talk about shock, when we talk about surprise, when we talk about sudden breakthroughs, it could be positive. It could be a beautiful thing. So I don't want to be fear mongering here with the shock and surprise, like, oh, it's going to be salacious. It may or may not be, right? For some people, it might be that way or it might feel like that. But then for others, it could be a surprise bonus at work. It could be a happy surprise. It could be if you have wanted to be a grandmother, maybe your child has a happy surprise that they're, getting pregnant, or a happy surprise proposal. So surprises and shocks, revealing truths, they don't always have to be uncomfortable, right? It's not something that you have to fear. And even if it is an uncomfortable truth, even if it is a shocking revelation that is uncomfortable, unwanted, it's ultimately better for you to know and have the free will choice to operate under the truth, operate with the facts, right? And not be moving through life on the basis of some illusion or falsity or fallacy or lie, okay? You'd rather be well-informed and equipped with honesty and truth and really awareness of what's going on, of what you have to work with. And again, just to underline, it could be you that's surprising someone else. Now, the other thing, the fourth theme for this Leo full moon is based on a different set of aspects. And I'm calling this theme Spurred On Toward Your Destiny. And I separated these aspects because they're not aspecting the moon itself, okay? So they're not aspecting the sun and the moon themselves. They're kind of separate aspects that are also happening at the same time. And that is Uranus, sextile, the North Node, and Saturn trine Mars. So the reason why I'm including this first one is because Uranus, sextile, North Node, and Saturn, while the North Node and Saturn are not aspecting the moon, Uranus is. So because Uranus is making a direct aspect to this full moon, I look at what's aspecting Uranus, okay? Because Uranus is impacting the moon, I want to know what's impacting Uranus at the same time. And so that sextile to the North Node in Saturn speaks to destiny point for me. Uranus sextile the North Node in particular is saying, like, again, yes, this might be shocking. This might be surprising. It might be a revelation. It might be an act of rebellion. It could be something like an upset or something. But it's in service to the North Node. It's in harmony or working in tandem with the destiny point, with the place, the direction, the trajectory that we're evolving towards, okay, that we're reaching for, okay? And Saturn being in the mix, on one hand, it could make something seem like a surprise limitation or a surprise form of discipline. I think best case scenario with Saturn kind of in the mix is that it grounds us, right? It gives us some groundedness amongst the drama, amongst the flare, amongst the upset, amongst the shock and the surprise and the awe. We can kind of take comfort in the fact that Saturn, which is like the level-headed one in the group, the sober-minded one in the group, the one who has good boundaries, the one who's practical and grounded, they're still around, okay? They're still within reach. They're still accessible to us in the midst of this radical shift, this radical change, or this radical truth. And then Saturn is also trining Mars at the same time, around the same time of this full moon, okay? And so Mars is in Cancer. It's not doing its best in Cancer, right? But it's strengthened by the Saturn energy. Okay. I feel like the Saturn energy gives Mars a little bit more grit, a little more perseverance and stamina, okay, to persist in this emotional water of Cancer. And so the first set of themes I forgot to mention, I'll go back now. Flare, Flare, feels more passive on our part, right? It feels like things could be happening, like a flare from the sun, a solar flare. It just kind of happens and we witness it and it's like, oh my gosh, look. Now, this fourth theme, though, Flare, Flar, feels more active on our part. And so this is where we can lean into the extraness of Leo, the drama of Leo, and add our own flourish, add our own flair. And what's making me feel that way is Mars, which I see as a planet of ambition, assertiveness, and drive. Okay, it's coming from within you. And also the North Node. To me, the North Node signals that this is something we can actively choose to reach for, that we can take this Uranian full moon on this day and sort of quantum leap ahead in some destiny point, quantum leap ahead, or have a surprise breakthrough or a sudden, acceleration or opportunity to make progress and to evolve closer to a larger vision and a future vision that we have. Okay. Again, I'm always skewing and leaning towards like, what's the best way that I can think about the astrology for the week, or what's the best way that we can try to tap into our leverage or flow with these cosmic energies. So taking the 4 themes that I just shared and journaling about them in these specific areas or themes of your life under the light of this full moon in Leo with lots of dramatic flair could be revelatory for you. So maybe the shock, surprise, truth is one that comes through in journaling, right? So it's not always going to be some external news that happens. Sometimes it's an internal revelation or an internal truth or knowing that happens. So I'll go through all 12 zodiac signs and suggest topics for you to journal about as one of your full moon rituals. If you know your rising sign, that's the one you want to focus on. If you don't know your rising sign, I suggest you look it up at Café Astrology. Just type in Google Café Astrology free birth chart or Café Astrology natal chart into your information, and it'll tell you your rising or ascendant sign. And if you don't have that information, you can also use your sun sign, okay? Aries, I suggest journaling about fun, play, pleasure, dating, and ways that you gamify your life. Taurus, I recommend journaling about your home life, your family of origin, your roots, ancestors, that sort of thing. Gemini, we can journal about communication, whether it be writing, social media, writing ideas you have for a book or an email newsletter or a podcast. You can also journal about your local neighborhood, the area that you live in, whether you are thinking about moving or you're trying to decide where to live. Journaling could help you, process and think through these ideas. Cancer, you can journal about your income, how you earn money, but also your self-value and the possessions that you have. For Cancers, you might even journal with physical possessions. So if you have something that you value, that's a physical object, you can have it with you as you journal. If not, even journal about the thing itself, right? So maybe it's a family heirloom that has a lot of value for you. Leo, this is your first house of the self. So this is you. You are the star of the show. You are in the spotlight, right? So you're journaling about yourself, your identity, your appearance, and really any area of your life with this first house. Virgo, for you, I recommend free writing or automatic writing. So opening your journal, burning some incense or candles, putting on some meditation music, and just writing from your subconscious, because this is your 12th house, subconscious, hidden things that you don't even see within yourself. And so automatic or free writing can help you tap into what's going on in the subconscious realms. For Libra, this is your 11th house of friends, groups, and long-term visions. So journaling about your friends, your friendships right now, journaling about your sense of belonging to larger networks of people, and also journaling about your long-term wishes for your life in the future. Scorpio, this is your 10th house of career, public life, and legacy. So journal about career, your career potential, your career path, both past, present, and future. Journal about who you want to be in public life. Who do you want to be known as? What legacy do you want to leave behind? Sagittarius, this is your 9th house. And so you could write about international global ideas. You can write about higher education and your general philosophy or religious beliefs. Okay. So you could journal a lot about, what do I believe now? What are some of the larger life lessons I've learned in my so many years on this planet? Capricorn, this is your 8th house. This is a deep house, really great for journaling. You can journal about things that you borrow or share with other people. So shared resources, contracts that you have with people, whether they be marriage contracts, legal contracts. You can journal about long-term wealth here as well, because that's your investments, your retirement accounts. And you can journal about the occult or transformation, deaths, things that you want to bury or things that are buried, right? And just because it's also a deep psychological house for you, you can also try free writing or automatic writing, okay? And again, death could mean like maybe you actually are grieving or mourning someone who has passed away, but it could also be death in the sense of an ending or something transforming in your life. And Aquarius, this is your 7th house. So you're going to be journaling, if you use these prompts, about relationships and partnerships, both romantic and professional. So these could be clients, consultants, or even a romantic partner. And then Pisces, this is your 6th house. So you want to journal about your health. How is your health going? How do you want to take better care of your health? What your daily routines like, your work life, your colleagues and coworkers, and just see, are you living day to day in a way that feels good for you? And I hope to see all of you in another video. Take care.